everyone, I'm Nancy Juice, and in this video, let's discuss another poem written by the Nightingale of India, Sarojini Naidu, and the poem is Love and Death. Our poet, Sarojini Naidu, was born in 13th February 1879 in Hyderabad, and she was sent to England for her studies and returned in 1898. And there is an interesting story behind this. At the age of 16, she fell in love with a young doctor. And uh, at that time, he was from another caste, and at that time, intercaste marriages were not that popular or common as it is today. Okay, so she was sent to England, and uh, her parents were not that conservative, but they just wanted to make sure that it was not a momentary physical attraction. And uh, once she returned to India, her parents were impressed, and they finally got married. Okay, in 1898. And next point, when she remained there in England, she was in touch with two literary figures, Arthur Symons and Edmund Gosse, and they helped in growing her in uh, career, in her poetic career. Fine. And after her marriage, she didn't remain within her household. She plunged into the public life. She published poems, and she got involved in socio-political activities. In her married life, she gave birth to four children. And during the World War I in 1914, she met Mahatma Gandhi. This changed her whole life and career. She became a freedom fighter. See, she was jailed many times, and she rose to become one of the best known freedom fighters of her time. And in 1925, she was elected as the president of Indian National Congress, the first Indian woman to become the president of Indian National Congress in 1925. And she also served as the president of the All Indian Women's Committee, and she was declared as the governor, the first woman governor of the United Province, now called Uttar Pradesh, the largest state in 1947 after independence. And about her literary career, she wrote her first poem at the age of 11 and in 1890. And then she wrote a long poem titled The Lady of the Lake in 1892, and this one consisted of 1300 lines, and she wrote this in 6 days. And later she wrote a drama consisting of 2000 lines in 1892. And now about her collections of poetry published. Her first major collection of poem is, titled Golden Threshold, and this was published in 1905. And it included 40 lyrics which discussed different subjects. And this collection included some of her famous poems like Innovation to India, Lord Buddha Seated on a Lotus, etc. And now about our second collection. It was published in 1912 in London and was titled The Bird of Time. And it included 46 lyrics which talked about the theme of love. And her third collection of poetry, it was titled The Broken Wing and was published in 1917 in London. And it consisted of 61 lyrics, and we can find an Indian spirit in them. And apart from these, after her death, three collections of poetry were published. And the first one is titled The Sectored Flute, published in 1953, and The Feathers of Dawn, 1961, and The Temple. And the first collection has three poems, that is, the Sectored Fruit has three poems, and the second one, The Feathers of Dawn, has 37 lyrics, and these were published posthumously, as I have mentioned earlier. And she is popularly known as the Nightingale of India for her ingenious, mystical, and idealistic poems. And she died on 10th March 1949. Now let's read her poem, Love and Death. I dreamed my love had set thy spirit free, enfranchised thee from fate's overmastering power, and girt thy being a scatheless dower of rich and joyous immortality. O love, I dreamed my soul had ransomed thee in thy lone, dread, incalculable hour, from those pale hands at which all mortals cower, and conquered death by love like Savitri. When I awoke, alas, my love was vain, even to annul one throe of destined pain, or by one heartbeat to prolong thy breath. O love, alas, that love could not assuage the burden of thy human heritage, or save thee from the swift decrees of death. And about the poem Love and Death, it is a sonnet with 14 lines written in Petrarchan style. That is, it is divided into two sessions, and the first session has 8 lines with and is called octave, and the second session has 6 lines and is called sestet. And this poem is taken from the collection The Bird of Time, published in 1912. And the rhyme scheme of the poem is A B B A A B B A C C D E E D. Okay, and the poem in this poem, the poet contrasts the promise of dream with the panic of fact. That is, the poet is contrasting the dream and the reality. And it is an argument or a debate between certain ideas of love, like love conquers all odds, it can even conquer death and all. So we'll discuss the poem in detail in the next class, and kindly don't ignore the details about the writers, because you'll definitely have questions, one word questions from that part in your exam. And as your assignment, write a short note on the poet Sarojini Naidu. Thank you so much.